Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the 21 and Sensory podcast. So on today's episode, I have special guest Amy Chrissy. Amy is a 21-year-old autistic hummus enthusiast, which I'll definitely be asking her more about later. She is an autism advocate who creates amazing and really informative educational videos on her TikTok, where she has over 40,000 followers. So Amy, would you like to say hi and just introduce yourself to the listeners?
Oh my God, you just reminded me I've got over 40,000 now. Oh, all going so fast.
No pressure.
Hi, I'm Amy. Like Emily said, I do autism advocating on TikTok and Instagram. And yeah, just that's my life at the moment, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Good intro. I kind of said everything, didn't I? And then I was like, introduce yourself.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's like, autism? Yeah, there you
go. So why don't we kind of start with a little bit of a background on you and your life right now? So maybe discuss any diagnoses you have, when you got your autism diagnosis might be quite interesting. People always find that interesting to hear about.
Yeah, so I got diagnosed with autism at 3, which for a girl, it's unheard of, I think. So I think that's always a really interesting kind of dynamic, especially within autism advocacy, because I feel like everyone's either self-diagnosed or diagnosed super late. And got diagnosed with dyspraxia as well. And then I've got mental health, depression, anxiety, stuff like that. So I kind of like to bring that into the advocacy as well, because they all overlap so much. Also ADHD. I feel like I'm doing a little bingo of co-occurring conditions with autism.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just throughout my life, it's just been kind of, I don't know, because I feel like a lot of people say with being late diagnosed, their life was really hard because they didn't know they were autistic. But I feel like there's also the other end where it's my life was kind of more difficult because I knew, just kind of put at a weird disadvantage a lot of the time. I love being autistic, but in society's eyes, it's kind of no, you're no good. But if you want to put it simply. Yeah, I think I've done well with what I've grown up with and what I've dealt with and stuff. Yeah, I guess.
It's really interesting. Like you say, I don't know many females who have an autism diagnosis so early on in life. Obviously that's great to hear, but like you say, a lot of people don't hear from that perspective. You hear from the late diagnosed rather than, if you were 3, you probably didn't even remember your diagnosis. Do you remember the process? You must have been, so tiny.
Absolutely not. I mean, I just remember just going to hospitals all the time and just, I don't know, just being surrounded by people. Just I needed a lot of support because I had global delay. I think that was what people picked up on when they were oh yeah, she's autistic. Because my motor skills were just they're still horrible now, but as a child they were just not amazing at all. But yeah, I mean, I don't really remember much of it. I just remember a lot of hospitals, speech therapy, physio, stuff like that. So yeah, always really awkward when people are how was your diagnosis? I don't know. It was so long ago. I don't know.
It must be really difficult because you almost weren't present for it because you were so tiny.
I know.
Not remember it. Did you get the right level of support through school and stuff because you did have these diagnoses? Do you think? I've always wondered if I'd had my autism diagnosis a bit earlier, would I have had more support during school? But I don't even know what sort of support that would have been.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I didn't go into mainstream school until I was in about year 4. I was half and half in the special needs centre. I hate saying that, but I don't know what else to call it. And then fully mainstream in year 5. But I feel because it was the 2000s, it was still a time where people didn't really know how to, I don't really know what, treat, I guess, autism, not treat, but give support kind of thing. So a lot of the therapy that I went to was very ABA style kind of like trying to make me not so autistic and, you know, kind of suppress those behaviors, which is, I mean, I think we all know how damaging ABA can be.
Yeah.
And like even now I'll do some things and I'm like, oh no, you can't do that. Like you won't get a treat if you do that, and you won't like be praised if you do whatever wrong. Like not wrong, but you know, it's been like ingrained into me that it is wrong, which is sad. And I, you know, just hearing so many people say that they've gone through it as well, it's so heartbreaking, because like I think when you've been through it yourself, it's just like it's not great. I think people don't really understand the extent of it until they've been through it themselves. But it's obviously something that I don't want people to go through because it is so horrid. But yeah, I mean, I guess in some ways it helped, because I mean, I'm able to, you know, do all of these things. I didn't learn how to speak until I was 6. I didn't learn how to walk until I was 4. So I think with the speech therapy that helped. Physio was all right, but yeah, I guess with like the ABA style type therapy, that was just like really, really horrific. Like, at least from what I remember, I tried to like repress it because it was just not great.
That's so scary. Like you say, that it's sort of kind of ingrained in how you sort of like operate and process things now. And it's almost like they kind of laid that sort of foundation when you were so young. So I appreciate that you have that like experience, and like through your videos and stuff like that, you can really like educate people as to why it is, you know, it's not a great thing for a child to be, you know, almost like manipulated like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, especially so young, and when it's so intense as well. Because I think ABA therapy is like, it's like no less than like 20 hours a week. And it can go up to like 40 hours. Like that's not something that a child should ever have to, like, even as an adult, that's a whole work week. And even then, like, adults are, you know, tired and stressed out by that. So like, imagine a child, and then on top of school, and just like general life and growing up and just being a child, like, it's just not appropriate for anyone, to be honest.
No, not when you put it like that. It seems, like you say, like a work week. It just seems really intense. And I don't know, like there's so many different like forms of therapy that are like so helpful. Like you said, the like speech therapy, and I found like occupational therapy like really helpful in terms of like sensory stuff. But
yeah,
it just shows you that like not all therapy is good therapy.
I know. I think it's just the fact that it's been like disproven. Like, you know, we as autistic people always say ABA isn't good. And then even like professionals who are neurotypical, I've seen, who say like ABA isn't good. And there's still people out there being like, no, we're gonna ignore you and we're gonna carry on. It's just so, I guess, disrespectful in a way, just to just say
it really
that.
is. Yeah, it is scary. And yeah, I think that's where the whole kind of online world gets a bit, I don't know, a lot of like heated discussions, which I'm sure you've like seen lots of.
All the time.
Yeah. We're definitely going to talk about your TikTok. What I was going to say, so from like primary school, did you go on to like a mainstream secondary school?
I did. I didn't get, I think, just as I got older, I think, because in my primary school, the SENCO, so basically like a special educational needs coordinator, I think that's what it stands for. They basically kind of like turned around and said, she's not autistic. And from that point, that's why I went straight back into mainstream, because they just said that I wasn't autistic, even though like I went to like so many different, you know, professionals and stuff like all over the country. And they were all like, yep, she definitely falls under the spectrum. But then this one person was like, no. And all the support just got taken away. And then ever since then, I just haven't had any like support. I guess like the most support I got was like DLA from the government, but then like with the whole benefits thing, like it turned to PIP, and it's just a whole mess now. That whole like the whole benefit side of stuff. I guess from like at least like official state governed places, I guess. Not really much support after primary school, but yeah, secondary school was just kind of coasted through, did what I had to do, got my head down, and here I am now.
Gosh, that's mad. Like you had you had the diagnosis. What? Like, how
I
can
know.
someone take that away from you?
I literally, we went to like Great Ormond Street Hospital, really like established hospital, like other really established hospitals across the country, and they were like, she definitely does. And no matter how many like referrals or letters or whatever that was sent to her, she was like, no, she seems normal to me. She seems high functioning. So yeah, she was not a nice person.
No, and just even that wording, she seems like she's not you. What? Like,
I know. Honestly, like, obviously at the time I didn't realize the extent of it, but now I look back on it, I'm like, I wish I was like old enough to know, so I could just be like, hang on a second.
yeah.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why that you're completely wrong. But yeah, that was a weird time. Very weird time.
Gosh. And did you get any, like, in terms of like exams and stuff like that, did you get like any extra time? How did that work?
I got special consideration, so I think like it didn't go against the normal marking scheme. It was like a bit more lenient on me, which is probably why I was able to pass GCSE maths, to be honest. Literally every time my results got a C, great. See you later.
Amazing.
But yeah, I don't know how it works. They just said I had special consideration, so I was like, okay, cool.
Okay. Oh, that's good.
Yeah, that's it really.
Oh, I definitely relate to you about the maths. It took me 3 times to pass it.
Oh my God, it's horrible, isn't it?
It is. And when I finally saw that C, I was like, thank God.
Did they put you in like foundation for the first few times, or was it like higher?
It was foundation every time. I'm just appalling at maths.
No, it's so much harder to pass with foundation.
It is. Like, and I had like, because they kind of knew I had like processing difficulties, I had like 25% extra time, which is why I asked you like if you had any kind of like special consideration or extra time. And I just used to like write to like the last like second, because I'd be like not near the end of the paper, and I'd be like, oh God. Yeah. Oh, I don't miss exams.
No, me either.
So you're now studying sociology and psychology at uni?
Yes,
right?
I am.
You are? Okay, cool. So what year are you in?
I'm in my first year, so just about to finish up. Thank God, because it's been horrible.
Yeah, and with like the pandemic as well, like your first year must have been so like different to what you were like maybe expecting.
I know, because like, you know, first year it's kind of like freshers get to go out and meet people. I mean, like I'm autistic, so I wasn't going to do that. But like still the idea of it, like, oh my God, like go out and just like do whatever we want. And then as well with like online school, it's really hard. I don't know, because I can't really focus well anyway. So being at home with all the distractions around me to just be like, Amy, come over here and do this instead. It's just not, it's not great, but I seem to be passing everything. So I guess whatever I'm doing is working. So, yeah.
And are you like enjoying the like subject? Like, do you feel like you've picked the right like thing for you kind of thing?
Oh, I love it, honestly, because I went to uni before in 2018. I moved to Brighton to do music journalism, which is a very weird change in kind of like goal. And I've just always been like really fascinated in psychology, and I was always quite good at sociology. So I thought, you know, my local uni was doing a course in both. So I was like, oh, fab. Like it's, you know, kind of all set up for me to do that, I guess. Like the weird ways of the world and fate and everything like that. But yeah, I just thought, yeah, just always been interested in that kind of stuff. And I really like it. And I think as well with like psychology and sociology, it really plays into just, I was going to say like just the advocacy, but I guess it's just life in general, because it is just about yourself and the people around you. So even in the first year, I've definitely learned a lot. Except for research methods. I hate research methods, and I think anyone else who does psychology can say the same.
Fair enough. And is it like coursework kind of based, the course?
I mean, it's kind of difficult. I think we were meant to have exams, but obviously there's this little thing going around called coronavirus. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah. Not ideal.
Yeah, I think they're technically called exams, but I don't know if it was like meant to be like a sit down kind of, that kind of exam. But at the moment, it's been all technically like coursework, assignment based, which amazing. I can't fault it.
That's good. And because you said it's like a local uni, are you like you weren't ever going to like live on campus? You were always going to like kind of commute in from home. Was that like your sort of plan?
Yeah, so technically because this was in Essex, I'm now in Birmingham, but I'm probably going to move back down. So like this uni was literally like a 10-minute walk away from me. Like it's just in the heart of the town centre. So I just thought, it's the easiest thing to do. And I did access to higher education diploma in counselling the year before at the same place. And I thought it was all right. And I guess just like, because I moved to Brighton and I hated it. I was so like homesick all the time. So I just thought, just be wise and stay at home and, just get on with it there. Because, it's a course I really want to do. And there's no point in like moving away ages and ages when there's a perfectly good course to do, like a 10-minute walk away.
Yeah, I'm definitely like with you on that. I lived at home while I studied at uni as well, and I had like half an hour commute, like half an hour drive, and it just like worked better for me than like you say, like removing yourself from somewhere. But I guess like, for you, maybe you wanted to try that, but I think I kind of knew that I would probably be very like worried to like live on campus or something. So for me, like exactly like you said, it just works better to know, like I did a foundation course as well at the same uni. So a bit like you, I kind of already knew the place like to go back to. So I definitely get like, just picking like the kind of easiest and I don't know, just like less vulnerable option for yourself is a good thing.
Yeah, I get you. I mean, I think it was a good experience though, because when I moved to Brighton, there wasn't like an actual like campus accommodation kind of thing. You had to like privately rent. So I got the experience of moving out of my hometown, which I think everyone kind of has to do at some point in their life, because it's just a whole new place to explore, a whole new experience, everything. And then also just learning how horrible it is to privately rent and how expensive Brighton is. So if anyone's ever thinking about moving to Brighton, make sure you have the money, because it's basically like a seaside London. It's nice, but is it worth the money? I don't think so.
That's such a good way of describing it, a seaside London.
Yeah, it's nice to visit, but not so great to live.
Yeah, and it's always so busy there as well.
I know, honestly, just trying to move anywhere, like even like before the pandemic, it was just an absolute horror just trying to do anything.
And as soon as the sun comes out, because I have some friends there, like everyone's out on the beach. It's just like, whoa, okay. All right, everyone.
I think that's just like British culture though. Like as soon as it gets to like double digits in the temperature, let's go out and just go out sunbathing in the garden.
Yeah, even if it's like 12 degrees, people are like, let's get out. It's like, okay.
I know.
Like, calm down.
It's so British. I love it.
It is very, very British. So what sort of like hobbies do you have like outside, the studying you're doing and obviously like the videos you're making? Do you have like any like special interests? Not to kind of like coin the term, but it's always interesting to hear.
Yeah, definitely. I really love video games. Nintendo is like, I love everything. Really like music. I'm a really avid music listener. I probably listen to music for like at least 8 hours a day.
Wow.
I also play instruments. I play the guitar, ukulele, the banjo, weirdly.
Nice.
What else do I bloody play? Piano, drums very badly, and I sing. So
wow, that's loads of stuff.
I could make my own one-man band.
Yeah.
I think it would be quite interesting.
Yeah. Wow.
And yeah, I guess that's really, really it. Basically,
I mean, that's enough to keep you going.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's just been a bit like more difficult during the pandemic, I guess, because it's like, I don't know, the motivation to do anything, like even with special interests, it's just kind of like, whack. It's just not there.
and just kind of like, I don't know, not like maybe a bit of like creative block, but also like you say, just like the motivation to like create and stuff. And I don't know, if you're in the like same place all the time, like in lockdown and stuff, I don't know, your brain just gets a bit kind of, I don't know, like stagnant, doesn't it? You don't like, if you're not out and about so much, you don't always have like the same like level of ideas and that sort of thing. So I definitely get that.
Definitely.
You're obviously like super creative and very musical. Like to listen to music for 8 hours a day, like, wow.
I don't know how I do it. I think it's just like us as autistic people, I think we always have an affinity to, I've got like a kind of, I guess, what's the word? Theory. I guess I've got like a kind of theory that we either have like a massive affinity to music or to animals.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've got both. Yeah, or just in the arts in general.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I feel like a lot of autistic people are just very creative. If it's not like scientific or mathematical, not to be so like stereotypical, it's always like really creative, like in any way, shape or form. So I think that's always really, really interesting, I think.
Yeah.
I just think just naturally we're drawn to those kind of areas, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And I like hear from so many different people who are like you say, like they might be in like something scientific or like a STEM like career, and they're really like focused in on like, I don't know, like a specific like PhD or something like that, like all the way to, like you say, something like musical or like arts. Like for me, it's graphic design, like that's my kind of thing. And like you can really like tell what people are like kind of like honing on as like a passion. And then it kind of, I don't know, you kind of, I feel like it's a special interest as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's nice to make a career out of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think it's like the most wholesome thing as well ever. Just like, seeing how passionate someone is about something. It's just, yes, tell me everything. I don't care if you go on about it for hours and hours. I will sit here and listen. Like, just go for it.
Exactly. And I really appreciate that about like, I don't know, like people like online, like Instagram and stuff like that, like the autism community, people talking about their special interest. I'm like, yeah, go for it. Like I want to know what, makes you like tick and what like gets you passionate. Like it's always really interesting to hear what people spend their time on.
Honestly, I just love that about the community. Like, I've got a Discord, not to plug, but I've got a Discord. And we've got like an own like special interest channel, and it's just filled with people just like talking about just anything and everything. It's just so supportive and so nice, and it could be like the most random thing, and it's like that's actually really cool to know about. Like genuinely.
Oh, I need to join this Discord. I like kind of half knew that you had this Discord like server going on, because like I think you've mentioned it in videos before. I need to join this. This sounds great. So have you got like different like channels set up for like different like topics and stuff?
I'm just going on to it now actually. Got like stuff where we talk about like neurodivergence, TikTok, special interests. We've got LGBTQ plus, art and creations.
Nice.
Yeah, just like loads of different things that people can talk about. And yeah, it's a really nice little community. And yeah,
okay.
I think just the one thing I'm upset about is that I didn't start it sooner, because it's really great and I love it.
Oh, amazing. Oh, I'm definitely gonna join.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Why not? Oh, I'm always like up for seeing like TikTok videos, like memes. Like I feel like, I don't know, when you just like find your tribe and they like share the same sort of thing, you're like, yes, people relate.
Oh yeah, I love it so much.
So let's chat about TikTok. Run me through the whole TikTok thing. Like, when did you start on TikTok?
So I started on TikTok, I think it was last year's Autism Awareness Acceptance, whatever you want to call it, week. And I remember because I posted on what, like, I think it was like my Instagram, and I was like, oh my God, I just made a TikTok. I'm so embarrassed. Oh my God, I can't believe it's come to this. And now look at me a year later. And then, because like the first one I uploaded was autism related. And then, yeah, because the first thing I uploaded was autism related. And then I kind of just like, I don't know, it was, I just like the put a finger down, like, kind of challenges and like just like making whatever I wanted. And then I think it wasn't until like either September or October that I was kind of like, the community, like the autism community on here is pretty large. And then I just uploaded a video like saying, things you shouldn't say to autistic people. And people really liked that. So I just thought, I've got like this whole lifetime of experience of autism. Might as well just share it into the world. Because I've always kind of, I've never really been quiet about being autistic. And I've always like shared whenever I can, like resources and, just sharing my experiences. So I just thought, this platform is kind of like perfect for it in a sense where, it's so easy to go like viral or like blow up on TikTok. So I think it's definitely the easiest platform to do that kind of stuff. But yeah, I honestly, like when I started out, I didn't expect for it to get to this point. So I can't be anything more than grateful,
That's amazing. Like in a year as well to have built up this like following as well. Like I know it's not all about followers, I get that, but part of it is like you want people to be seeing your content and people to pick up your like videos and stuff. But that's a huge like following to have had, and just I think it's really nice to like see more and more like females talking about autism, because
definitely
I feel like there's more and more creators on TikTok who are female and autistic and have got all these like comorbid things going on as well, and it's just made me, like even just me, like feel much less like alone in what I'm struggling with. And I'm sure that you're helping out so many other like teens and stuff who feel so different and just want like someone to look up to, if that makes sense. So I think it's really great what you're doing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think it's just like definitely from like watching people like Paige and Cheryl and Evelyn. I think they were like the three main people who I was like watching all the time, and I was like, oh my god, like I want to do that. And now I'm friends with Cheryl and Evelyn, and it's like so weird, like it's so strange thinking about it. Like a year ago I was kind of like, oh, these people are so cool, and now I'm like, oh, we follow each other, we're mutuals and we're like friends. That's so weird.
That's how I feel as well, because I had like Cheryl on my podcast, and now we just like chat on Instagram, like in the DMs, and it's so nice to like know these people as well. Like after you've watched them and you kind of like look up to them, and they're such like genuine, like nice people as well.
It's kind of like surprising in a way that they're so humble, because like I feel like especially with like internet celebrities and stuff, they kind of like get like a boost of followers or views, and it's like, right, well, I'm the best and I'm better than all of you kind of thing. But like everyone's so like genuine and lovely, and you can literally just like, I feel like with a lot of people you can literally just like slide into their DMs or like leave a comment on one of their videos and just talk about anything. And it's great and I love it.
Exactly. And it's, I don't know, it's almost like different to like, I don't know, I feel like celebrities are like that totally like unreachable level of like, if you wanted to ask a question or something like that. Whereas like, I don't know, people on TikTok and stuff like that, you just have like that much more of a like connection. And like you say, you can like ask stuff in the comments and people are always like really responsive, which is so nice.
I know. I love it. Yeah, I think TikTok's really good for that kind of stuff. Like compared to say if you were like uploading on YouTube or something, I think it's a lot better in that sense.
Do you like plan like your videos, or are they quite like kind of like spontaneous? You kind of think, you've like watched other people, or like there's an issue that you think you want to talk about, like because obviously you're studying as well. Like, how do you juggle it? Is what I'm trying to ask.
I mean, it's kind of bad to say, but I feel like my education has kind of taken like a backseat to TikTok, which I feel awful saying, but also, I mean, I love them both equally, but I don't know. I think especially with TikTok, I think especially because like stuff in the autism community is like changing all the time, and there's always new things happening. So some of the time it will be like spontaneous, where I'll just like, I need to talk about this right now. And then also of like the kind of like meme kind of videos, they're definitely like, I'll like be scrolling down my For You page and I'll hear the sound. And I'm like, I've just had the funniest idea. I'm going to do a TikTok to this sound. But then others like where I'd like sit down and like talk about educational stuff, that's all like scripted and, you know, planned out, thought out everything, just because I know that if I didn't script, then I would go off on a tangent and I would fall over my own words and it would be horrible. But juggling it, it's been a year and I still don't know how to do it. So hopefully that comes to me soon. But summer's coming up, so it's going to be like probably like TikTok oriented that whole summer. I could do further reading for uni and stuff like that, but no. But
then also it's not like you're going in and you're like having to like physically attend and stuff. You're like, you know, I'm guessing you're just doing stuff online, like, you know, during the day and in between like the time you have like free and stuff. So really it's good that you have like a extracurricular hobby, I think is what you should refer to TikTok as.
Yeah, I think so too. Because I think literally like this entire school year, I think I've only been in person single digits, no more than 10 times. Wow. So it's been great, but for like the focus and the production of work, it's not been so great. But I still get it done. So that's the only thing that matters in my opinion.
And I'm assuming you're doing the whole like 9K a year. It doesn't seem worth it.
I think it's either 7K or 9K, but either way, it's still a good couple of grand.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think a really interesting like kind of discourse happening is, you know, people being upset that they're paying 9K for online uni basically, but you know, disabled people have paid the same amount for the same kind of treatment for years and years before. Like it's not really anything new to disabled people. Like obviously I get the uproar because obviously it's affecting everyone at uni right now. But it's also really good to like kind of take a step back and realize that, you know, disabled students are paying 9K a year and have these limited resources as well. Like they may not be able to attend physically like all the time or never, and stuff like that. And I think that's really interesting to think about, really.
Yeah. And I've seen lots of disabled people talking about like, you know, how the world's going back to normal and stuff, and how we've just sort of got used to like, you know, remote working being like, you know, a good accommodation like for everyone, and that we're almost switching back to being in offices. And actually, you know, offices don't work for everyone. Like,
oh no,
I just think, I hope we don't, as like a society, just like revert back. Like we should learn from, you know, this.
I know. Like the whole like, oh, honestly, I think it's like, especially with like the work week as well, like there's no need for like someone to work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. You know, have some days like working at home, or like, you know, a 4-day work week, stuff like that. I think that would be really, really, really good to consider. But yeah, I think this whole past year has taught us so much about literally every single aspect of life. It's kind of scary, overwhelming. Like
I just hope we don't lose, like you say, like this flexibility of, you know, I don't know, being trusted to work at home, or like, you know, trusted to like study from home and stuff. Like a mix would be a good thing going forward, you know, like you say, like some days at home. Okay, I appreciate like some days you wouldn't like need to go into like college, uni, that sort of thing. But like you say, the world isn't set up for everyone. Like, you know,
exactly.
You don't want to be in 24/7.
Yeah, I mean, I guess some people thrive off it. I guess that's why it became a thing in the first place. But I think for the majority of people, like neurodivergent or not, it's not sustainable, to be honest.
No, I don't think so. it's too much hard work.
I know. Just like, give me a break.
Exactly. And I'm like concerned about like getting back out into the world, because I feel like, I don't know, like I was so used to being like out in the world that I was almost like desensitized a bit. Whereas now, like I'm so sensitive to everything now. Like when I go back out, like to the shops and stuff like that. I don't know if you found that like socializing again. I don't know if you've found it like difficult to get back out and like, I don't know, just like eye contact and stuff.
Oh, the eye contact is horrendous.
Yeah.
Literally, I feel like at least 50% of the time, I'm not thinking about what's going on in the conversation. I'm thinking, okay, make eye contact. No, that's too much. Look away. Oh, you're being rude. Look back. No, that's too much. You look scary. You're staring at them. No, look back. No, don't. Like that kind of like. I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Okay, good. I didn't like realize like until my diagnosis that like not everyone was having this internal monologue of like when to give eye contact and stuff. Like
it's so weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's been like, oh right, this isn't like quote normal, I guess. Yeah. It's so weird.
I don't know how it comes to people naturally. I'd love that, but
I know.
Yes, I'm with you.
Honestly, I've got like so many like charismatic friends who can just like talk to anyone and everyone. Like they can like rock up a conversation just like in no time, and I'm just looking at them just like, I am so jealous of you. I can't even begin to imagine how like confident and how, I don't know, just so just confident within yourself to just be like, right, I'm going to go up and talk to that person and we're going to be best friends in the next 5 minutes. Like,
wow,
how do you do that?
I aspire to one day be like that, but I know it's not going to happen.
It's always good to have a goal.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like, as you say, like, I don't know, with experience and stuff, you get better at this sort of thing and you kind of learn like the kind of tricks and tips to like survive and mask to some extent to like get through things. But
yeah,
I think
definitely
you find your real friends, don't you? I think
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I think like at least as stuff has been opening back up, I've just been catching up with really close friends and just chilling out, having fun. But yeah, I think like especially with conversations right now, it's kind of like, what do you talk about except from the pandemic?
Yeah,
like it's so like nothing else has been going on. You can't talk about what you've been doing recently. Like
exactly.
Like, oh yeah, I just laid in bed all day and rotted, and then got up for dinner and then went back to bed. Like, how interesting is that?
I feel literally just like that. Like I'm either working or asleep. Like there's no in between of things.
Eat, sleep, work, repeat.
Yeah, it's like when someone's like, "What have you been up to?" I was like, "Well, not, I don't know, the same as you."
Yeah, we're all living the same life. Like
exactly. It's so difficult, but hopefully we'll get to some sort of good place soon.
I hope so.
So I was going to ask you before I forget, hummus. Let's talk about hummus.
Let's talk about hummus.
Yes. Chat to me. Tell me specifically your hummus loves, hates, like flavours, or is all hummus good? Come at me with your hummus knowledge.
So, I think I've got some very controversial opinions.
Oh, okay.
So, my favourite hummus has to just be plain hummus. Like, you can't go wrong with it. Mm-hmm. The original, the OG, tried and tested, nothing wrong with it. However, Marmite hummus, I don't know if you've tried it.
What?
But it's amazing.
It exists? What?
It's amazing.
Oh my God. Wow.
Literally just walking around my local Sainsbury's and I was like, obviously going to the dip section, just looked around. Right next to the normal was this Marmite hummus. I was like, oh my God, I love Marmite. I love hummus. Put it together and it's really nice. I don't know how they did it, but it's really, really nice.
Yeah. Is it like the same colour as normal hummus? Does the Marmite make it darker? I have so many questions.
It's like a bit in the middle, but more on the hummus kind of side. Like you can still tell it's kind of, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's a lot more Marmite-y than hummus-y. Because like you'd think it would be like Marmite mixed in with hummus, but it's kind of more like hummus mixed in with Marmite. So like kind of thing. So like if you're not a big fan of Marmite, then don't try it because you'll probably hate it. But no, it's genuinely really good. I don't know who thought of it, but whoever thought of it, I love you. And I want to give you a high five.
Yeah.
Crisp high five.
And what are we dipping? Like, are we talking like carrot sticks? That's always a good one, I find.
Carrot sticks. Toast is really good.
Ooh.
Really, really good. Like the seeded brown toast. That's really nice. used to be a big fan of breadsticks, but not so much anymore. Like if they're there, I'll have to. Obviously, there's hummus. I got to dip it into something.
Yeah.
My boyfriend's like a couple feet away from me. He's just like done like a scooping motion with his hands, like as if like to scoop the hummus out of your hand.
You don't need to dip anything, just dip yourself.
Yeah, dip yourself. Like you got fingers for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like that's the best way to like finish a pot as well.
Oh, definitely. Honestly, like if you're not going around it with your finger after, it's just you've wasted it.
It's a waste, exactly. I do love hummus, and it's just so versatile. Like you can put it on so many things as well as like dipping it with stuff. So
I know. Honestly, I just want to. I mean, they're probably like not alive anymore. Not to get too morbid, but I just want to like hug the person whoever invented hummus. Like who thought of like chickpeas and tahini and lemon and oil like all in one? Like who thought of that? I love you. You are amazing. Like
we will find you and congratulate you.
I need to look it up now.
Yeah.
Who made hummus?
I love that you're doing this.
A cook named Nadir Tawari. No. Actually. Does it? I don't think it says like the actual person.
Is it like a country thing? Is it like a speciality? Like, like the Italians have pizza and pasta. Like, is it a thing somewhere?
It's weird because I thought it was a Greek thing.
Yeah.
But it's Middle Eastern.
Okay. I feel like I'm learning so much.
Oh, Greece is in the Middle East. Kind of. Is it? I don't know.
Our geography is not good enough for this.
I thought Middle East was like Turkey and Pakistan and like some parts of Africa. I don't know.
We don't know.
I don't know. If anyone could like educate.
Middle East is like Egypt onwards to kind of.
I don't know if you can hear him.
I can.
Middle East. Left of China is Middle East.
Everything left of China is Middle.
Everything left of China is Middle East.
Oh, I'm getting my left and right mixed up. I was thinking, no, left of China is Philippines and Japan. Like that's the right of it.
We're not going to be good at this if we're like dyspraxic, left and right geography.
Honestly.
I love that he's like fact checking for us. Like
honestly, like, I feel like I need him like every single thing I do, just like, hey, is this right? He'll be like, yeah, no, you're not, but it's fine.
It's fine. Oh,
never said I was good at geography.
No, me neither, don't worry. Well, we went into a little hummus tangent there. I liked it.
Honestly, I love it. Anything about hummus, just I'm sold.
Cool. Well, I'll keep an eye out in my local supermarket and see if I can find any fancy hummus to report back on.
Oh my god, yes. And I'll do the same with you.
Okay, great.
Lovely jubbly.
Love it. So what else was on this little outline that I was going to talk to you about? Oh, I was going to mention that you did I saw the little graphic that you did on Instagram, like you did a drawing.
Yes.
So cute. I love it. And
Thank you.
You're using Procreate because that's what I use.
I am. Wow. Honestly, if it weren't for Procreate, I love it because I used to really be into drawing. Like I used to do just like pencil and paper, and then I got a Wacom tablet, which was just like, I loved it so much. And then I just went off it, and I was just kind of sitting there for ages, like I really want an iPad. And then people were saying like, obviously you can do so many different things with one, and just talking about drawing and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's really like maybe it will like help reignite, the kind of love that I used to have for it.
Yeah.
And I think just at the moment, I think it's kind of like a thing where it's like, if you don't get it right the first time, then you kind of get like really annoyed at yourself, even though it is literally the first time that you've done it. There's no reason to get annoyed. So right now I'm just kind of like working through that. Like, I'm not going to be perfect at everything the first time, which is hard to think about.
Yeah, I get you.
But yeah, it's just really, really fun to just have a doodle and yeah, I love it.
Oh, that's so great to hear. Like, I get you, like, the iPad is like, it's such a like cool thing to like you want to buy it, but like it's a huge investment. But then like once you get it, you're like, yes,
honestly,
so glad I did this. And it's kind of like therapeutic as well, I find, to just like sit and just spend some time doing something different. Like,
oh, definitely. I think, yeah, it really helps as well because, you know, I've got uni as well. So I kind of use that as the excuse to buy it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, just like for uni, for drawing, for watching stuff. Oh, my God, it's so good for watching stuff. There's me watching it on my iPhone like an absolute like mug. I've got an iPad now.
Oh, it's so much nicer like in bed as well to have just like a slightly bigger screen, isn't it?
I know.
Oh, well, I'm glad you've like, it's like just something else that you can kind of like, I don't know, dabble with. And like your first drawing was so good. Like, oh my God, I scroll back on my Instagram feed and I'm like, my first drawing, I was like, good Lord, what was I thinking? Like you can see how much like, I don't know, not like even my style, like even just like, I don't know, like the brush like strokes and stuff. I was like, what was I thinking?
I think the evolution of someone's art especially is just so nice to look at. I love it.
Yeah. Exactly. And you can see like, especially if they like document from the start, like a bit like I have done, like you can really see how much it changed and how much like, I don't know, like how much they've been like influenced by like certain people and stuff like that. But I think it's also just like a really nice format to share, like especially on like Instagram. I think visuals do really well on there.
Oh, definitely.
Obviously. But people seem to really like written posts and like infographics for like autism stuff on Instagram. They always seem to get like loads of likes. So I'm always trying to like keep an eye out on like trends and stuff. I'm like, should I be doing this?
Oh no, honestly, yours are great. Like your your illustrations are so cute. I love them.
Oh, thank you.
Right. But no, honestly, it's just like, I don't know. It's kind of like, I think Instagram is kind of like, oh, another infographic or whatever. But yours are like really fun to look at, genuinely.
Oh, thank you. I'm trying to like keep them up kind of thing. And it's, I don't know, it's so difficult because like you almost want like the next one you do to be like the best one. And then you post it and you're like, oh, I need to better that like by the next one. And you're like, why am I putting this pressure on myself?
Honestly. And it's also like, it's like when a post does really like unexpectedly well, and then you're like, right, every single post after this is going to be the exact same. And then you get like half the likes and it's just like, oh, did I do something wrong? Like,
you must get that with like videos as well. Like something does really well and you're like, yes. And then like the next one you do is just like, I don't know. I feel TikTok's like got a really weird like algorithm of like, I don't know, like sometimes like your next video will just get like a few hundred views.
Honestly,
like,
at the moment, I did a video, I did like a stitch and say it was like someone saying, what are the albums that you listen to that have no skips? It's gotten 950,000 views.
Whoa.
For no real reason. And I've had a load of people following. I'm like, please know that I don't do that all the time. Like, that's not my content.
Yeah.
Ones that I feel like you don't want to. Like, I'm obviously glad that it did. But also, like, that's not my niche. That's not what I give out. Why do you have to do it to this one? Like, please. It's such a weird algorithm.
Yeah. And you just want, like, them to kind of find you through your other content sometimes. I know what you mean. Like,
oh, yeah.
When something like does well, like I had that with like, I've had one TikTok video that like, I think it was like on a Chewy necklace and that had like 300,000 views. And I don't know why. But then like people started following me and I'm like, oh, are people going to be expecting like more like fidgets and necklaces and stuff? And I'm like, oh, like you almost want to know like why it's been picked up, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just really weird because I think there's not really anything online that kind of says about the TikTok algorithm. Like at least like Instagram, it's kind of like you save a post and then that like boosts it and whatever. Yeah. But like with TikTok, it's kind of like good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, is it going to do well? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And I know like Cheryl's had this a lot. Like she always says like, you know, like some of her videos get picked up massively and then like the next few will get like a few hundred views. And she's like, I don't know, like this week on TikTok, it's been really weird. Like I see her like post to her stories and stuff. So it's definitely something that I think like all creators on TikTok are going through. Like,
oh yeah, because I think it's kind of like one of your videos does super duper well and then you're shadow banned and you're not even getting onto like people's following page and stuff. And it's just like, I what do you want from me? I don't know what you want from me. Like, like you liked it a week ago. Why don't you like it now?
Yeah. And that whole thing about like being shadow banned and stuff like that. Like, I randomly got banned from doing lives for like 2 weeks, and I like went to like look. I was like, why? Like, because I don't really do lives that often. I was like, why have I been banned? And they said that it was because I was underage. Like,
this has happened to so many people.
What? And I'm 26. I'm 10 years older than that, and I had to like provide ID. I was like, what is this? I obviously sound like 12 or something, and they were just like, oh, she's underage.
No, that's happened to so many people. And like, even I remember, I forgot their name, but it happened to one creator where they like showed their ID and everything, and they were like, no, you're still underage. Like, they literally gave you a valid form of ID. How are they?
What?
It's so weird. Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad it's not just me just like being told I'm very underage when actually I'm 10 years older.
It's a very weird app.
It is. It's like so good in terms of like finding new people and stuff like that, but it's like so addictive at the same time.
I know. It's always got its like ups and downs, and I guess everything does, but I don't know. It's a bit weirder with TikTok, I think.
I think where people have like hit the right sort of balance is like, you know, just like taking regular breaks from it and stuff. And I think that's kind of a good way to go.
Oh, definitely.
The world of TikTok. But you're smashing it. You have like so many followers and such a great like platform.
I don't know how I did it. It just happened.
But you're rolling with it and it's cool.
Oh yeah, like just rolling with the punches. Whatever happens. Like, I don't know. It's just a bit shocking. I just never expected it to get to this. I just like, obviously I'd be lying if I said that I don't care about the followers, because obviously the numbers do mean something.
Yeah.
And it does motivate you in some way. Obviously, like when people like your content, you want to do more of it. But you know, it's just still something that I started out as like something that I love doing, and it's still something that I love doing. So it's just weird how 40,000 people have just said, I'll come along for the ride.
Yeah.
Let's go. Like,
that's amazing. And it's great that you're still like enjoying it, because that's the most important thing, because I think people don't realize, like, you know, you're doing this in your spare time, in your free time, like you're not you know, being like paid to do like this stuff, like it's off your own back. So I think people need to understand that, you know, you're doing it out of like, it's almost like volunteering.
Yeah, because I mean, like, if people don't know, the Creator Fund is not great.
I've heard that,
yeah, it's not amazing. Like, you'll get some money off it, but it's like nowhere near as much to like accommodate as an actual job, unless you're doing like absolute mad numbers. But otherwise, yeah, it is kind of just like volunteering, but it's when it's something that you're passionate about and it's something that you love, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad to hear that. So you plugged your Discord earlier. What else can we plug? Like, where can we find you on the internet?
Oh gosh. Well, I will have a link tree. But otherwise I've got my Instagram at amy.chrissy, my TikTok obviously at amuamu.
Love the username.
Thank you. I don't know how I came up with it. I'm just like, amu, just sorted.
That'll do.
Like, there's me just thinking like, oh, I won't get to anything big. I can just choose a stupid name.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
But yeah, I think that's it really.
Cool. I will definitely put your link tree in the like show notes so people can follow you along.
Lovely job, Blair.
Yeah. I can't believe we've been chatting for almost an hour. That's gone so quick.
I know. I'm thinking like, my autistic ass could never do that.
See, that's why I have a little podcast outline, because then I'm like, okay, have I talked about everything I wanted to ask her? But yeah, everyone, go check out Amy's links, and I will see you all in the next podcast episode. Amy, do you want to say bye as well?
Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for joining, and thanks for having me.
No worries. It was so nice to have you on.